This video is sponsored by Manscaped. In honor of Eric Staal scoring his first goal as a member of the Montreal Canadiens yesterday in overtime, giving the Habs a victory over the Edmonton Oilers, I wanted to go over what is the weird relationship between the Montreal Canadiens and the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, Lego, this is a weird video topic. Why don't you just talk about Eric Staal and the game yesterday against McDavid and Draisaitl again? And you know what? I didn't watch the game. It was regionally blacked out over here. It was on TSN2 and Sportsnet West, and I believe RDS, but hey, those channels were not showing the game properly here in Vancouver here because of the blackout. And plus, I kind of woke up a little bit late as well, so I didn't get a chance to see it. But you know what? It is what it is. I saw all the highlights. I saw Eric Staal do his thing in overtime, but because we are putting the spotlight here on the former Buffalo Sabre and the Staal brother himself that is probably bouncing back in the biggest way possible amongst the other Staal brothers, I wanted to take some time to actually talk about those brothers and talk about brothers in general, because when it comes to the Montreal Canadiens, taking a look at some of the guys that they have on this team, the Eric Staal trade did a few things. First off, it took Eric Staal, which was a guy that was unexpectedly traded from Minnesota, where he thought he was going to be for the rest of his life with his kids and all that, to Buffalo. A random team out there that he didn't think would go out and acquire his services. He was terrible in Buffalo, kind of everybody was, so it's not really that big of a deal. But when he was traded to Montreal, firstly, the trade saved him. We already made a video about that if you want to check that out. But secondly, the trade also cements another very big piece into that relationship with the Carolina Hurricanes. Because now, if you take a look at the Montreal Canadiens and their roster, and you take a look at the Hurricanes and their roster, there are indeed 3 individual pairs of brothers on these teams. Eric Staal has a younger brother in Jordan Staal that is on Carolina. You have Nick Suzuki, who has a younger brother in Ryan Suzuki, who is in Carolina. And you have Cale Fleury, who has an older brother who is also in, guess where? Carolina. So I wanted to just take some time here to talk about the Staals, the Suzukis, and the Fleurys, because with 6 players on the chopping block here, 3 of them in Montreal and 3 of them in Carolina, I thought it'd be really interesting to bring this together. Also, this video is sponsored by Manscaped, so thank you very much for that, but more on that later. Starting things off, though, with Eric Staal, we all kind of know what's gone down. The guy scored the overtime winner last night against Edmonton, assisted by Tyler Toffoli, and it was a pretty nice goal. He just takes the puck in the neutral zone off a pass from Toffoli, walks down the right wing, shoots it, it goes in, no big deal. That's a goal scorer's goal right there. One that you would expect a seasoned veteran like Eric Staal is to be able to just pot in regularly with no hesitation and no qualms about it. Eric Staal has been in a position where, as we've noted in a few previous videos, he was absolutely phenomenal for the Minnesota Wild over the past few seasons. 76 points in 82 games in 2018 and 40 goals. Not to mention having 20 goals in 68 games last season before the bubble. He was out there actually doing really well, so the fact that he got traded against his will to the Buffalo Sabres was a very just big shot in the foot to the overall body of work that Eric Staal has been able to uphold throughout the later stages of his 30s. But we'll see how exactly he is able to go out with Montreal and hopefully recuperate some of that success. There have been a whole bunch of conversations I've been seeing Habs fans having online, talking about the lines and where you should play Staal and who you should play him with and all that. It's whatever. Dominique Ducharme is going to do what Dominique Ducharme wants to do. If you want to talk to me in the comments, who do you believe Eric Staal should be playing with, then yeah, please, I'm open to listening to your suggestions. But going over to Eric Staal's younger brother, one of his younger brothers, in Jordan Staal, 32 years old, so he's a little bit on the younger side there. Obviously, we all kind of know that Eric Staal and Jordan Staal both have had some time in Carolina, except at different parts in their careers. Eric Staal was there when they won the Cup. He was probably one of the biggest reasons as to why they won the Cup back in 2006. But Jordan Staal, starting out his career with the Pittsburgh Penguins, winning some Cups of his own in 2009. Then going over to Carolina in 2012-2013, where he has been ever since. This season, he's at 26 points in 35 games played on a pretty good Carolina Hurricanes team. They've actually come out here and actually started doing really well, so it's awesome to see that. Jordan Staal's number, honestly, is pretty good, 26 in 35, but he's actually 5th on the team in points, behind Netjosh, Trocheck, Hamilton, and Aho. Hamilton, by the way, absolutely phenomenal this season. This guy's doing wonders for the Hurricanes. Carolina's pretty much going to be locked into one of these top 3 spots in the Central Division, and Jordan Staal has been doing a very good job in making sure that fact reigns true. Next up, let's talk about Nick Suzuki, because as we know, Nick Suzuki has been a top prospect for a long time, who eventually made his debut the other year, and who showed off really well in his first full NHL season. 41 points, 71 games played this year. He's at 23 in 35. And the crazy part is, even though that's a pretty good number, there are going to be a ton of people out there talking about how Nick Suzuki has been down in the dumps. He's been kind of awkward this year because he's not scoring as many goals as we know he could. And that's just a testament to how positively Canadiens fans believe in Nick Suzuki and believe in the hype and believe in the talent that was given to them when that trade was made with Max Pacioretty and the Vegas Golden Knights. That trade still reaping the benefits for both teams out here. A win-win trade at its core for both the Canadiens and Vegas. But with Matthias Norlinder in the pipeline, with Tatar still on the team, we'll be debating as to what happens with Tatar in the long-term future in the next couple of months as well. But Suzuki still doing his thing out here. He's still young. He's still got room to develop. But the younger brother, Ryan Suzuki, is in a pretty interesting spot. Right now, he is with the Chicago Wolves. He's 19 years old, and he normally would be playing in the OHL. But because the OHL's been shut down, he has been down there in the AHL, where in 17 games played, he's got 10 points. Ryan Suzuki is just a teenager, remember that, so he's not really supposed to be allowed to play in this league so far. But the fact that he still is, and he's doing pretty alright, is a great sign. In the Barrie Colts and the Saginaw Spirit organization, he made his bread and butter just being a very capable offensive producer, good passing, good shooting. He scored himself 35 points in 23 Saginaw Spirit games and was over a point per game with the Barrie Colts before the trade sent him there. Ryan Suzuki to me has top 6 potential for the Hurricanes, which is going to be crazy because they already have so many very high-quality top 6 caliber forwards that will be top 6 caliber forwards in the long term. The guys on the team already are pretty good. Sebastian Aho, that guy's great. You have Martin Netjosh and Andrei Svechnikov, good names over there, but you still have prospects coming in here like Ryan Suzuki, like Dominic Bach, like Seth Jarvis, like Noel Gunler, like Jack Drury, like Jamieson Reese. Yeah, the list goes on and on and on, not to mention the guys at the end of the drafts as well. You have Alexander Pashin doing crazy good things in Russia as well. So, yeah, the Hurricanes are stocked to the brim with top 6 future prosperity. But a guy who is not a top 6 forward, nor is he really a forward at all, is a guy who they also have in Haydn Fleury, a top drafted prospect from the 2014 NHL draft who has been on the team ever since. He's been up and down in the AHL, NHL, back and forth, and he was never really an offensive producer, but Haydn Fleury this season, 33 games played with the Hurricanes, 1 goal, so there's no production over there, but that's not really why you have Fleury in the lineup. There's been a lot of concern as to whether or not Fleury is the right fit for the Hurricanes going into the long-term future that I've seen argued amongst very passionate Hurricanes fans online, but Haydn Fleury has himself a younger brother whose name is Cale, and you might have heard of him. Yeah, he's a Canadiens guy, 2017 third-round pick who has been up and down. He played in the Canadiens organization last season for half the year, but spent a boatload of time in Laval as well. In the WHL, he was never really a top offensive producer until his end game year, where he got 41 points in 51 games with the Regina Pats. Now this season, though, in the AHL, he's at 5 points in 18 games played. I honestly have been a really big fan of Cale Fleury every time I have seen him play. I don't want to make it seem like he's the perfect defender by any means, but he's definitely a guy who goes out there and he legitimately does good things. I was very happy seeing him in the 41-game sample size we had of him last season in the Canadiens locker room. And just seeing the swagger, seeing how this guy's able to roll up and do his thing. It was something that I was always a big fan of, but of course, with the long-term prospects you have in the Canadiens organization, you have the Romanov, who is already on the team, you have Jaden Struble, Norlinder, Caden Gooley as well. There's going to be a lot of competition for these final spots on the Canadiens blue line. But that kind of concludes our video here today. Talk to me in the comments what you think about Nick Suzuki, Ryan Suzuki, Jordan Staal, Eric Staal, Haydn Fleury, and Cale Fleury, because that establishes the weird bond that the Canadiens have with the Carolina Hurricanes. Also, before we go, I want you to check out our sponsor because support for this YouTube channel is brought to you by Manscaped, the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels and is trusted by over 2 million men worldwide. Join the movement for all your below-the-waist grooming needs. Now, we've collaborated on this because there's some big news in town. Manscaped has just officially launched in Canada. If you're located in the Great White North, you may be one of the first Canadians to experience these life-changing products. If you ever have those times, sometimes it's just a little too much down there, and you need to clean things up. Manscaped is the answer for you with their third-generation redesigned electric trimmer, the Lawnmower 3.0. Cutting-edge ceramic blades, a 90-minute battery, LED lights, and it's waterproof, along with a 7,000 RPM motor and a charging stand. The Manscaped team has created the greatest below-the-belt hair trimmer. So go ahead, trim that junk of yours. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code LEGOROCKS99 at manscaped.com. Again, that's 20% off and free shipping with code LEGOROCKS99. Do yourself a favor and check out Manscaped. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.